Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Please kindly subscribe for more folk tales and stories from around the world that inspire and empower. Don't forget to like, comment, and share this story. Imagine waking up one morning only to realize that everything you worked hard for has vanished. All your dreams and success drained away overnight. This was the shocking reality for every tenant that moved into Mr. Oho's house. Once upon a time, in a bustling town, there was an old decrepit house owned by a landlord named Mr. Oho. The house had a dark, mysterious reputation. It was said that Mr. Oho, a man who seemed to get richer each year, had a sinister secret. Mr. Oho was not an ordinary man. He delved into dark spiritual practices to accumulate wealth. His technique was as twisted as it was powerful. He siphoned the destinies of his tenants to fuel his own riches. Every prosperous tenant who moved in soon found their fortune dwindling while Mr. Oho grew wealthier. The house first lured a young couple, James and Amina. They were both successful professionals and had just begun a promising life together. They rented Mr. Oho's house, drawn by his spacious rooms and affordable rent. Little did they know, their happiness was about to be shattered. Within months, James lost his job, and Amina's business began to fail. They couldn't understand how their luck had turned so quickly. Arguments and stress replaced their once joyful conversations. Desperate and confused, they sought the help of a pastor. Pastor Emmanuel, known for his spiritual insight, visited the house. He prayed fervently, but sensed an ominous presence. He warned James and Amina to leave immediately, but they were bound by their lease and financial constraints. Reluctantly, they stayed, hoping for a miracle. Next came Mr. Kofi, a wealthy merchant who moved into the house after James and Amina left, broken and defeated. Mr. Kofi had always been a savvy businessman, but the house's curse didn't spare him. His flourishing trade business started to falter, and he too sought divine intervention. Mr. Kofi's decline was rapid and unexplained. His once thriving market stalls were now empty, his employees left one by one, and his wealth drained away. He turned to Pastor Mary, a known spiritual leader. She stayed overnight in the house, praying and fasting. During the night, she encountered Mr. Oho performing his ritual. Confronting him, she demanded he stop, but Mr. Oho laughed off her threats. Pastor Mary faced a personal crisis. She had lost her husband years ago and felt a calling to help others through spiritual guidance. Her encounter with Mr. Oho shook her faith. She doubted her ability to confront such evil, but felt a renewed determination to protect the innocent tenants. Months passed, and more tenants fell victim to the house's curse. The whispers grew louder in the town, and Mr. Oho's wealth continued to rise suspiciously. The pattern was undeniable. Anyone who rented his house left poorer and defeated. Mrs. Ease, a renowned author, and her teenage daughter Nkechi were the next tenants. Mrs. Ease's books were bestsellers, and she had a comfortable life. Shortly after moving in, her writing talents seemed to vanish. She struggled with writer's block, and her latest book was a failure. Nkechi noticed the peculiar changes and started her own investigation. Nkechi, a curious and determined teenager, noticed the strange marks on the walls and the odd sounds at night. She decided to stay awake and secretly recorded Mr. Oho's ritual. She showed the evidence to her mother, who contacted Ada, a former tenant who had once confronted Mr. Oho. Conflict, Nkechi's determination. Nkechi faced conflicts with her mother, Mrs. Eze, who was initially skeptical about her daughter's discoveries. Their relationship became strained, but Nkechi's persistence eventually convinced her mother to take action. Finally, Ada, an entrepreneur who had just made a significant breakthrough with her business, moved into Mr. Oho's house. Initially, everything seemed fine, but within weeks, her business started to crumble inexplicably. Desperation drove her to seek answers. Ada began to notice strange things, peculiar marks on the walls, odd sounds in the night, and Mr. Oho's increasingly affluent appearance. Determined to uncover the truth, she stayed up one night and witnessed Mr. Oho's sinister ritual. Armed with evidence, Ada confronted Mr. Oho. At first, he denied everything, but Ada had recorded his confession. She went to the authorities with proof. Under pressure, Mr. Oho finally confessed to his dark practices. He admitted to stealing his tenants' destinies to amass his wealth. Among the authorities was Pastor Lucas, a revered and trusted figure in the community. He assured the tenants and Ada that he would put an end to the evil once and for all. The tenants found comfort in his words, believing that their troubles were over. However, Pastor Lucas had his own dark agenda. He was in cahoots with Mr. Oho, sharing in the stolen destinies to gain spiritual power and influence. Pastor Lucas pretended to perform cleansing rituals, but instead, he continued the malevolent cycle. Suspicious of Pastor Lucas's true intentions, Ada kept a close eye on him. She noticed that despite his supposed efforts, the tenants' fortunes were not improving. One night, she followed him secretly and discovered his alliance with Mr. Oho. Ada faced threats and intimidation from Pastor Lucas, who realized she was getting too close to the truth. Despite the danger, she remained resolute in her mission to expose the evil alliance. Ada gathered evidence and exposed Pastor Lucas's deceits to the authorities and the community. Outraged, the townspeople demanded justice. Pastor Lucas and Mr. Oho were both arrested, their evil partnership brought to light. With both men behind bars, the curse on the house was finally broken. The tenants began to regain their fortunes and peace returned to the town. Ada's bravery not only saved her own destiny, but also the destinies of many others. Mr. Oho, in his final days, confessed to his involvement in dark practices, revealing that he was once a victim of a curse himself. This confession added a twist to the story, showing a cycle of evil that needed to be broken. Days later, Mr. Oho was found dead under mysterious circumstances. His wife and children couldn't take possession of his properties due to the evil tied to them. In the aftermath, the tenants formed a supportive community, helping each other rebuild their lives. Ada and Nkechi developed a close bond, their shared experiences forging a strong friendship. Pastor Mary, having regained her faith, continued her spiritual work, now more determined than ever to fight against evil. The old house was left again. Moral of the story: the tale of Mr. Oko and his malevolent practices teaches us that greed and the pursuit of wealth through unjust means ultimately lead to destruction and loss. The story highlights the importance of integrity, the power of courage, and the value of community in confronting and overcoming evil. It also serves as a reminder that the truth always prevails, and those who exploit others for their gain will face justice in the end. This folktale emphasizes that true prosperity is built on honesty, hard work, and ethical principles, and that the support of a united community can overcome even the darkest of evils. We have come to the end of this story, guys. Please comment in the comment section what you've learned so far in this story. And if you are coming across my channel for the first time, please join us as we keep these timeless stories alive. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on your notifications bell so you never miss a new tale. Like, comment, and share this video. Thanks.